The second characteristic that great originators always seem to have is an ability to understand themselves. And I think this is one of the things that limits people. I always wonder, you know, how many loans do you really want to do? And I hear from originators, they say, well, I want to earn X amount of dollars, or I want to do 8 or 10 or 12 or 3 or 5. But it's always more than generally they actually do. And it's because I think they want to do that, but for some reason they're unable to get there. And this is where maybe I could reach out to the branch managers or the people who are sales managers and working with loan originators that want to be doing more than they're doing today. This is an area I think that you can help, because the reality is everybody has a story. Everybody has parents or teachers or coaches or peers or friends that have influenced them and put things into their subconscious, into their minds, and given them barriers. As I mentioned on an earlier video, Roger Bannister shattered a barrier, and then a whole bunch of other people came after him. Well, that's kind of what you have to find out with an individual. What's stopping you from doing more? Is it the way in which you organize yourself? Is it more about maybe you don't think you deserve to do more? Is it just something that, there's a point at which you just kind of check out? And in my experience over all these years, I found that the right combination of motivation and, to some degree, a little bit of pushing can get people to break those barriers. And once a barrier gets broken, a new barrier gets set, and then that gets challenged, that gets broken, and that's how people grow and develop. I know I do personal training on a weekly basis, and I could do it myself. It's not that I don't know what the exercises are, but to have a trainer with me, making sure I do it right and encouraging me and then pushing me to do more, I know I get a tougher and stronger workout. I know I'm better with that person helping me. And I think that this is an area that it isn't just innate. You might have a perception that you're only a 6-unit a month originator. The truth is there is no 6-unit a month limit. You can be what you need to be. Some people may choose, because of personal circumstances, to back up their production or to get it larger. But if it's that's a reasonable situation. But as a partner and a coach and a sales manager, when you're working with originators, clearly trying to understand what motivates them internally, what their real objectives are, and what barriers are they facing that may not come out the first time you have a conversation with them. I know when I interview people, I talk about what's happened in their life that's been dramatic, that's impacted them in a negative or a positive way. And when you learn what those things are, sometimes it makes you understand why this person might be only limited at a certain level. And there's some things you can do. There's encouragement you can give, books you can give, activities you can help to manage. And we'll talk about that in future areas. But this understand your story, by the way, is what makes great originators even better, because they accept it. They move through it. They create their own story. They're not precluded by some of the historical things that might be there. A story I might tell you that affected my personal life tremendously is I was a tennis player in college, and I was a pretty decent tennis player. And there was a big tournament you had to win to go to the Nationals, and as fate would have it, I showed up at the wrong court. Ended up defaulting my points for my team that year. Well, the reality was we weren't going to get a chance to go to the Nationals, so for the four or five, including myself, seniors on the team, that was a really tough pill to swallow. But we worked out anyway, just in the effect that our coach said, you know what, we might get a chance. We were the last year national defending champions. We might get a chance to go. And even though we didn't win the district tournament, which qualified us automatically, we might get an at-large bid if one of those teams can't go. So I had to spend the next 2 months working out with my team as hard as we possibly could to prepare for a nationals we may never go to. I can tell you I was the first one to the court, and I was the last one to leave, and nobody worked harder than me, because nobody felt guiltier than me for being such a dummy, going to the wrong place and disappointing my team. But as fate would have it, one team, believe it or not, couldn't go to the Nationals that year, and we were given the automatic bid. And we went back and won the Nationals by 1 point that year. And I often think about that. What would have happened had we not have gone? Would have it changed what I thought of myself? Would it have changed how I lived my life? It may have. It may not have. It may have just been one of those things that even drove me harder. It's hard to know, but it's part of my story. And I understood every day when I went out there how that was going to affect my life. So if you're managing originators or you are an originator, try to figure out what your story is. What are the things keeping you from being the best you can be? When you figure that out, you'll join a great group of people that have become great originators.